On this week's episode of the Crushing Debt Podcast, From Allowance to Assets. So, welcome back to this week's episode. My name is Shawn Yesner, owner and founder of Yesner Law, and I am joined remote today by your financial coach, George Corbello. How you doing, George?
I'm doing well. I have to say, my kids are officially, doing things and not bothering me. So school, thank you for that. But I've got two seniors. I've been saying we got two seniors, one in college and one in high school. So, I'm getting relief for the college burden from one, and then I'm just adding another one. So it's a good time. Happy Friday, brother.
If only there was a podcast that you could listen to that would talk about how to deal with the financial struggles of having to put two kids through college.
I don't know. We'll find one. Well, this one is pretty good, but we'll have to think about that one. But yeah,
I
how
don't
you
know,
doing, brother?
maybe a stronger Patreon push to help those kids get through college.
There you go.
Uh, so one thing I realized in terms of my own household budgeting and whatnot, you know how happy I am when I get to the end of the week and I use the last of the lunch meat, the last
Yep.
of the bread, the last of the, whatever. I didn't do that at all during the summer. And I guess what it was because I wasn't used to the summer schedule and when did I need to pack the boys a lunch versus
Right.
when did we have lunch versus if versus that. So I finally today, when I made my boys lunch and what packed my lunch and the boys' lunch for the day, I used the last of about 6 different types of groceries, and I was so happy that I wasn't wasting money again. I'm so glad that school's
Kids are
back.
looking at you like, Dad, what is this?
Yeah, I guess that's what does my life come to when I'm happy that I used the last piece of bread in the bag.
It's all good, man. It's all
But
good.
yeah, no, kids are back to school. We've started. Boy Scouts has started. Soccer has started. My younger son is in a camp where an after school program where he learns computer programming and
Nice.
coding and editing. So I don't know, maybe we hire my son
We
to
hire
edit.
him for yeah. There you go.
We'll see. And then he's also going to go into a robotics after school program. So I've got after school events Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday.
I like it. Keep them
Yeah.
busy. That's a good thing. Keep them learning. I love it.
So, but speaking of kids, we have a guest on this week's episode. So I want to welcome our guest, Kelly Gersonde. She is with Kids Market. She's been a business professional for over 15 years, experience with marketing, business plans, sponsorships, and partnerships. Her experience helps to grow Kids Market exposure and support the kids who can develop and focus on their business. She has a degree in marketing from the University of Wisconsin and is the mom of a little boy and a fur baby. So welcome, Kelly.
Thank you so much for having me today, George and Shawn. I second everything you said with the back to school. I actually did my back to school board and said I'm free from 8 until 3 to get everything done. But then, Shawn, to your point, our evenings are packed with my 5-year-old in activities. So I welcome the 8 to 3 freedom during the school year, but it's all work and laundry and making those lunches and doing the grocery shopping. So
Exactly. Yeah, I have to leave the office by about 3 o'clock every day to get home. I have to pick up my boys at 4. And the last couple of days, I've had to work from about 5 or 5:30 to 7 or 8. And so either take the boys and bring my computer and set up
Yep.
remote. It's just I had to set my email to say if you email me after 3 o'clock, I'm not going to be able to get back to you until the next day.
yeah,
So,
you and everybody else in Carline is probably doing the same thing.
yep. So I don't have to be in Carline. I have to pay a significant amount of money for a private bus to avoid Carline. But I'm hoping that gaining some of that time back will help me make a little bit of extra money.
There you go.
But we were exposed to you into Kids Market, but I want you to explain real quick. Well, before we get there, for those who want more information about it, it's kidsmarket.us, or you can reach Kelly, 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 at kidsmarket.us. But real quick, what is Kids Market?
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. Kids Market is helping young entrepreneurs aged 7 to 17 grow their businesses. So we believe that kids have, creative minds and are just, really good ideas. And we wanted to give them the platform to be able to put those ideas into practice. And so we actually provide real world hands-on experience at markets all throughout the greater Tampa Bay area. And not only are they selling all of their homemade items, but they're learning confident, they're gaining confidence, public speaking, financial smarts with their money, and just like hard work all along, while having fun with other kids their age at, these markets alongside adult vendors. So we're really just helping our young budding entrepreneurs throughout Tampa launch their businesses.
And these are actual legitimate, they make money, they have expenses. These are not theoretical or conceptual. These are actual people are giving them dollars for their products and services.
And Shawn, not just giving them dollars, but these kids are selling out. I mean, it's not just the lemonade out of a pitcher anymore. They are infusing lemonades. They are bottling lemonades. They are rolling their own pastas and packaging them. They are doing their own big cookies with their own artwork on them. They're doing woodworking, crocheting, jewelry, henna. And these kids, it's all their handmade items. But yes, they are becoming a hot commodity at these farmers markets as well. Some of them are getting a following, and actually the families that come out with the dogs and the kids are looking for, where's that rice ball? Where's the pasta guy? It's really cool to see.
So where are the events held? Where are
Yeah,
the
Great question. So we collaborate with our partner, Tampa Bay Markets. Tampa Bay Markets hosts, I think, 16 or 18 markets all throughout the Tampa and Pinellas, Hillsborough County and Pinellas. Everything from the Hyde Park Outdoor Farmers Market, Water Street, Midtown. So we are consistently every month at the Carrollwood Farmers Market. It's the second Saturday of every month. We're also at Seminole Heights, which is the second Sunday. We're at Midtown Sunshine. We're out in Kenwood and St. Pete. So we're consistently at about 5 or 6 markets throughout the area a month. And we've also been invited to join several other pop-ups. So we have our first one in Land O'Lakes in September. And then we've actually started to get recognition. So the Junior League that hosts the big holiday fair at the fairgrounds, the big shopping experience before the holidays, we're going to have an entire kids section there as well. So we've got our consistent markets where you can come and find all the young entrepreneurs, but check our calendar because we're always adding more one-off opportunities.
Wow, I know that where I live in West Chase, they have a market on a regular basis. I also know Safety Harbor has a third.
That's a big
Friday,
one.
I believe. So
I love that one. That one's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
If we had more, so my business partner, Regina Hort, and it's just us right now. So if we had, more of us, if we could duplicate us, we would love to hit up more of the markets. We have a lot of affinity for the Wesley Chapel, Zephyr Hills area, out to Trinity, the Trinity market over there. So we hope to grow in 2026 as we gain more kids and be able to reach outside, of these core markets in Tampa. We want to expand and offer all of the young entrepreneurs in the surrounding areas the same opportunity.
So
Excellent.
Is there a limit to the number of kids you can have in the program at any one time?
No, so not in our program, but at the markets, yes. So we are right alongside all of the adult vendors. And so there can be space constraints. The beauty of some of the outdoor markets, such as Carrollwood and Seminole Heights, is it's just a big open field. Same in St. Pete. We've got an entire high school, grassy area. We've had everything from 3 kids. And actually, we just sold out our Carrollwood market earlier in August. We had 9 kid entrepreneurs there. We filled up an entire row right alongside adult vendors. So they can join our community, but yes, there can be some space constraints at the markets just due to, how the markets are set up.
Got it.
So, I mean, as again, kids starting off, right? So you got seven to teenage years, right? So skills is needed as part of this as an entrepreneur skills. What are some of the things, what's some of the skills that your program offers to these kids to be better at, these businesses? Because you're right, there's so much opportunity to be able to not only sell a product or sell a service, but being able to kind of, put some structure in place. Because again, you're thinking money, skills, I just make it and I spend it. What do you mean? What other skills is there to have? So I'd love to understand that, but then I'm going to do a little side too, is like, what are the parents learning? Because I'd imagine they're
Yeah.
probably learning some things from you guys as well. So, a little long question, but again, love to hear what kind of what are we teaching out there from the program standpoint?
George, one of my most favorite questions to answer, and I geek out on it because what differentiates us from other just kid pop-up markets is that we do require the kids to submit a business plan before they become part of our community. So if you're one of the older children, you might have had a business course or
Sure.
did an after-school program that honed in on entrepreneur skills and just putting together a business plan. They already have it. They submit it to us. We review it. We approve them. But if you're younger, 7, 8, 9, and you're just selling bracelets or banana bread in the lunchroom because you just love to do it, you probably haven't thought of a business name and the costs that go into it, and how to really, turn this into something bigger. So we have a business course that the kids can take. It's self-guided. We've got animations in it, really age appropriate, and it walks them through those exact questions. George, what do you want to name this? What are the materials you need to actually produce your product? And then when you sell it, what do you need in regards to a storefront? You need a table to be able to put it on. You need a way to be able to take, payment. And so they go through this course and then submit that to us. That helps us when we are in those markets with those kids, hone back on to, their business plan. And we can sit here and ask them questions to help develop, right at the real market. Did you bring all the supplies that you had in your business plan? Do you have, all the forms of payment that you wanted to take? So
Sure.
it helps us kind of check some balance, in a really healthy, safe way at these markets to develop them in the real life. Um, so the best thing, I mean, being alongside these kids, their first markets, they're behind the table, they're a little shy, some of them. But let me tell you, after 4 hours at a market, they're in front of their table. They are literally going after kids in strollers, like, do you want a Rice Krispie treat? And of course, then the families are like, yeah, we're gonna get a Rice Krispie treat. But they're really gaining confidence, public speaking, working on their elevator pitches. I mean, I didn't know what that was at 10 years old, but now
Right.
these kids are literally capturing, these shoppers as they walk by all on their own. We do ask the parents obviously to stay at the market because they're young kids, but we ask them to step aside. So these kids are under there doing this on their own. Mom and dad might be there from afar watching, and all I see and hear is just beaming parents. They say how much the kids enjoyed actually seeing people buy their products and experience with smiles on their face these items that these kids put this hard work in. Dog bandanas on dogs walking away, people taking pictures with it. I mean, these kids light up, as do the parents, when you see the community supporting them. So that is probably the best part of all of this is these kids, and they keep coming back. We
Right.
just had some kids sign up for markets for the rest of the year. Now we're having the conversations. Do you have enough inventory to, you're still in school? And unlike adult vendors where this is their day job, these kids are students first and then they do this on the side. So we work with them on, the appropriate amount to bring, and the effort, because we recognize too that, inventory can be a thing
Right.
at 10 years old. So it's really cool to see.
Nice.
What I kept thinking while you were explaining that was there are probably some adult business owners that need to learn that stuff as well as
That's why I say, are the parents paying attention too? Because
They are.
there may be some instances they need that information as well.
Well, and we have conversations with the parents often, like, are there any skills that you're really hoping, your son or your daughter are going to get out of this? Because then it helps us continue to evolve our program and our education to make sure that it is worthwhile for everybody involved. So the parents' feedback is critical to us continuing to grow and support these kids. But really, and it's funny, sometimes they're like, I just hope we broke even, but we got to go home and, look at it. And I mean, they wouldn't keep coming back if they weren't actually seeing the profitability of what their kids are, producing.
so two interesting questions that I see from the website. Number one, is there a fee for the kids to participate? Now I do see that you have a link to become a sponsor to a market. So I assume that offsets some of the costs, but is there a fee for the kids to participate? And then the other one that I was going to ask you about as well, especially, I mean, I was at a networking event this morning. George and I met through networking. My entire business is based on networking and word of mouth. But then right under the frequently asked question about, is there a fee to participate, is the question, can I share a booth with a friend?
Yeah. So, part of making money, it costs money. And so we do have a small fee. It is typically significantly lower than any other vendor fees at the market. It is $25 to have a table and to have space there. In order for us to keep those costs low, but allow us to still be able to market, we do look for sponsors. So when you choose a business or just individuals who choose to sponsor the kids market, that money is helping us keep those table costs low while providing marketing support and awareness, the systems on the back end for us to house these educational courses. So yes, we look, for sponsors to continue to help grow our community. But these kids do pay $25. So as they work out their profits and losses and cost of doing business, right alongside, if they're making crochet, what is it for the yarn and the materials? And then my table fee is $25. I need a tent weights, because in these Florida
Right.
weather, you need all the appropriate setup. So they have startup costs. And then there's those consistent cost of goods and a table fee each time. And so they can start to see how much they need to price their products at and understand where how much they'll need to sell in order to, make a profit. And that's where the money management comes in. In regards to the kids sharing a booth, we have typically it's their friends and they're doing something similar. So yes, I mean, we want this to be an experience where the kids are growing and learning. There's actually a really cool duo too. These sisters, one makes their own wood and the other one like designs it. And so they kind of each have their part of one, but they want like two tables in one. So look, we work with them. Half of it is gaining community and having, like-minded people alongside with you. These kids are exchanging telephone numbers. They're meeting up to do their crocheting, even though they're both, have their own businesses. And now they get to lean on each other and learn, to your point, networking. They're networking and can ask their peers for feedback on their businesses too. So they don't have to just come to us or their parents.
So what is the program like what happens in between the markets? Is there classroom time? Is it videos? Is it Zoom calls? In other words, does anything happen in between when the kids show up for the markets?
Great question, Shawn. And that is actually our plan exactly for 2026. So, Kids Market was started in the spring of this year. We really have only been around since April. So, the fact that we're selling out markets, in August already just shows
Right.
that there is a need for this platform and this community throughout the, Tampa and Pinellas area. So, in 2026, we actually want to offer, online, evolve our online courses. So, right now, they present the business plan or they do the, course with us. In the future, we actually are partnering with Junior Achievement and they've got entrepreneurial courses. So we want these kids to be able to take an assessment and it'll put them into different categories based on their knowledge. And then there'll be deep dives into different educational topics. So it could be working on your profit and losses. It could be how do you do a storefront setup to be more effective. It could be working on that elevator pitch and your sales pitch. So we're going to have a whole catalog of courses that the kids can take on their own and be part of this community where they can share ideas with each other. And then the other part that I'm really excited about is bringing in a speaker each month for about 15 minutes, other industry professionals that are entrepreneurs themselves to speak to these kids. I mean, the community and support from all the other vendors has been fantastic and they all have knowledge that they want to share with these kids. So each month we'll have a topic and the kids can tune in and continue to evolve on their entrepreneurial skills.
Do you need a financial coach that would want to come?
I believe these kids need a financial coach because the number one question, I'm always like, how did you do? And they're like, I made money. I'm going to go shopping. And it's like, well, George,
Right.
you might need to come in right now and help elaborate the point of saving.
Provide some support and just say, and again, that's a lot of times with the kids, our parents will always tell us, this is what, this is how you should do it. This is what you need to do, things like that. And then we realize like most of our kids don't listen to their parents anyway. So it's it's
Yeah.
like, all right, let's give you some advice based off this stranger. that's giving you this. But and we realize that, right? That we know the importance of, like, it's easy to say, let's make money so we can spend money, but what do we do with that money itself? We want to grow, grow the business if that's something that the kids are thinking about. Obviously, more inventory so that we can sell for the next time, things like that. So yeah, those are the things that we want we want them to really start thinking about. But it's interesting where it's like, I'd imagine it's different with a 7-year-old than you have with a 17-year-old with those types of
Correct.
conversations.
Well, and
How
the
do you
mark
handle
these
that age difference? I guess that's my like, what are some of the differences in the conversation?
Yeah, I mean, you see it in their maturity level too. I mean, the older
Sure.
kids, they really are behind their tables and see the longevity of what, they're doing. Honestly, the younger kids like to go shop around and spend that money instantaneously on a big cookie and lemonade.
Right.
And so we just have those gentle conversations. We're excited that you're here. We encourage them to go around and engage with the other vendors, learn, ask questions, introduce themselves as their own, business owner at the market, ask those vendors to come over as well. So it does open up the conversations, but then we also just go, make sure that you're covering your costs. And they kind of look at you and we're like, we look at the parents and we're like, we'll work on that together. Maybe at the next market, let's put together a plan and make sure that it's also worthwhile. Go reward yourself with your lemonade or your cookie kind of thing, right?
Right.
So it's as much fun as it is, in those younger age. Some of them too, it's, do they want to do this for a while? And some kids have actually
Right.
been like, I think I decided I just want to work for somebody else. This was a lot of work. And look, to figure that out at such a young age, that's great. You know what you like. You want to work in a bakery, but you don't want to own that bakery. Thank you for trying. We're so proud of you, but you learned and now you know.
Fascinating. And again, we wouldn't be crushing debt, right, if we didn't talk about, like, how to handle debt even at that age, even
Right.
at these instances, right? You kind of put all these costs, upfront costs, when it comes to, like, let me get my business just for the one event. Like, you got
Yeah,
to have the tent, you got to have the weights, you got to have this. You don't realize that at that age, where it's just like, oh, I just got a product, I'm just going to sell it and people are going to buy it.
exactly.
So having an instance to be able to showcase that and seeing that, how do you? I mean, I would imagine, again, it's been a short period of time, but, like, failure is part of this, right? Maybe the idea doesn't pan off, or we don't sell as many things that day. How do we handle those situations? Because that could be heartbreaking for some of our youngins,
George, that's a great question. And this summer has been brutally hot too. So these kids are outside on some of these really hot days. Sometimes foot traffic is just slower. The families aren't
right?
bringing the dogs and the kids out to these outdoor markets just because it's been in the hundreds, and so sales might be a little lower. That is where that conversation with some of the other vendors comes in handy, because the other vendors are going the same. So now they know they're not in this alone, and we often give them that feedback as well. You guys did great compared to foot traffic at this event, or this was slower than normal. Please don't give up, kind of come back. You had a great idea here. Or some of the older kids that are comfortable having an Instagram, and their parents allow them to have like an Instagram, they're starting to promote that way too, and start to realize that there could be some sales that can be made that way. So we help them along, with other ways to continue to grow and raise awareness of what they're doing. But look, we are entrepreneurs ourselves too, Regina and I. And so we talk to them about, we have learnings. We don't, go into our details, but like, we've tried, we've failed, we, pick ourselves back up, we pivot. And that's okay. And it's part of something that we're all in this together. The situation may look a little bit different, but we're all learning, we're all growing. And we're so proud of you for still being out here and giving it your best shot.
Yeah,
Awesome.
I think that's a great lesson. I mean, I know for my business that people don't want to think about bankruptcy starting at around Thanksgiving. They want to
Mm,
celebrate Thanksgiving. They want to go into the
The holidays,
Christmas
yeah.
season. They want to go into New Year's. They don't want to think about, I want to charge all these presents that I'm going to give my family. They don't want to think about, how am I going to pay for them? So I've got to kind of plan in my own business. Okay, I know middle of November to the end of
mhm.
December are going to be slower. So what processes am I putting in place now to prevent that? This is your program is a year round program, right? So even though summer
Correct.
might be slow, once cooler weather, which in Florida is like a week and a half in January, but once that comes, maybe there is more foot traffic. And so
Right.
I think that's great that they're learning that the business sales cycles almost.
Absolutely. And that's where opportunities like the Junior League's big holiday market that we got invited to, I think they have 20,000 people come through in a weekend. And so we broke it into a morning and afternoon shift because that's a really long day for, these kids to be on their feet. And we want them to still be a kid too, right? But also, will their inventory be able to last that long? It kind of goes back to,
Yeah.
they have roadblocks and things that we have to help manage. But now that they signed up for it, they can spend that time and that effort and that money right now, but then go make a big holiday push, right? And so I think they can kind of see, like, not every market has 20,000 people. Sometimes it's just a couple thousand, and how to gauge their business appropriately and plan appropriately too. They are learning about all those critical skills throughout this program and at a young age.
That's awesome.
I mean, for me, it's amazing that, but it's so important, right? Because a lot of kids, again, we're talking about, like, as we grow up, we're thinking, like, is college still needed? And we want to try to instill this entrepreneur type mindset. Why not at this age? Because we're thinking, you're right. I mean, some of these kids, not everyone is this, not for everyone, right? Not every kid's going to want to sell something or do something, but having an opportunity to kind of put that out there, learn, and then not feel like the pressure. That it's okay if you have a bad outing or or you have a great outing, and this is a learning opportunity from that standpoint as well. So I love the fact that we have something that's local. And it sounds like expanding, meaning like it's not just gonna be
Yes.
something local. Like you could expand to an online presence. If you got an Instagram, there's a way to get people excited about coming to see your product at this location. So I
Yep.
think I think it's amazing what you guys are looking to do. And it's really, again, I'm really excited. I'm like, how do we get you
Thank you.
sponsorships, right? Let's just, like, let's get
Well,
you
and that's,
the
we
support and
just had a
help.
conversation with the bank yesterday about opening kids accounts. To your point, like,
Right,
how do we then put that into something where they can then learn the money management part of it and the
right.
savings part of it, to prepare them for the future? Or, one little girl, she made, some money at one of them, and I was like, "What do you want to do?" And she's like, "I wanted to go to Disney." And so she's now
There you
seeing that
go.
that hard work can buy, generate a profit, and she can buy herself. And that's what her and her family had discussed, that, if that's what you really want to do, how do you want to get there? Some people, it's through an allowance or cutting grass or whatever it may be, and each of these kids are putting their passions into use. We want to elevate that conversation next year and really help them open up kid savings or kid checking. The beauty with a kid checking too, where a parent still has to be on it, now they can accept their own form of payment. Not to cut the parents out of the conversation, but if the Zelle is going right into this, kids checking account, it's kind of like their own little teen checking business account.
Right,
Now we're taking that even a step further. It won't work for every kid and every family and every situation, but if they're serious about it, now they're collecting their own form of payment instead of using their parents' Venmo or Zelle or, PayPal, which is frequent, it's common right now. And then the parents kind of divvy that out. But we're really looking on how do we help them gain that independence and those money smarts on their own as well.
I was going to ask. I know you haven't been doing it for a tremendous length of time, but is there any particular kid or success story that stands out in your mind?
Oh my gosh. I'm so proud of all of them, and the ideas that these kids are coming up with just continue to blow my mind. Every time we get an application, I'm like, "Oh my gosh, these kids are making their own pretzel bites." Like, I never would have did this. But there is little Noodle Thomas. He was at our first market, and just brought, he sold out within like an hour and a half, because you just don't know what you don't know. And
right,
now his setup was just a table, I think, like one of those plastic tablecloths you can get at like the dollar store, parents' tent, and then just his pasta. And now he's got baskets and stands to put his pasta on. He's got a whole banner behind, like, his setup and his appropriate quantity of how many noodle packs to bring has expanded. And now people actually walk by and they're like, "I've heard about you." And by the way, he is doing a pumpkin pasta for a limited time only. Like, this kid is expanding to seasonal offerings because he loves doing it so much.
love
And
it.
it's funny, his mom is just like, "I'm gonna need to open like a bigger kitchen." But it's cool to see, like, that he enjoys it. He's coming back. The community is literally starting to follow him. And I mean, to expand to seasonal offerings, that's smart. Like, now you're
Right.
capitalizing, and really like thinking about how to elevate your business at like 11, 12, 13 years old. But I'm proud of all of them.
So
No, it's fantastic. I mean, oh, go ahead, Shawn. I'm sorry, man.
I was going to say, who or what type of businesses are you looking for to be sponsors for the program?
Absolutely. We are open to really any type of sponsor like category. We really appreciate those that have a version of like a kid element to it. So we've had EOS come out before the gym. They offer daycares there. And so that is great. They usually bring a kid activity as well to the community. So they're adding that value back. You know, if there's kid activities, there's a DJ going at these markets, those families are staying there longer. They're typically spending more money. The kids get hungry. They're going over to the kids' booths or want to buy a bracelet. So our sponsors, we do ask to have some kid element, whether it's a child banking or, like I said, they are, health and wellness or sports leagues. We really do want to try to diversify. I'd love a financial one. We had the Tampa Tarpons come out. I mean, they brought King Ripple. I mean, that's perfect because now, the kids and everybody's just having a blast. Those type of sponsors that really just understand that the importance of kids and what we're trying to accomplish at these markets and just support that vision would be great for the upcoming year.
George, did you have a
Yeah, I was gonna say like rapid fire fun segment itself. What if I, like if I have an idea, like a kid business idea, like my daughter loves slime kits. Is that something that you've seen out there?
Haven't. Well, I saw a version of it once, but it's not. It's definitely I like that because it's not a lot of competition, right? That's
There
the
you
other
go.
thing that we try to really for the sake of the kids and the general vendors. I mean, sourdough is a really big thing right now. If
Sure.
the markets are, excuse me, already going to have several sourdough adult vendors, we might advise that kid that that might not be the best market because there's some competition. And while competition is not always bad, we also want these kids to be successful. So
Correct.
when you kind of corner something like slime, which is not a common item at our tables right now, we'd love to have her out. You're offering something different. Now you're
Right.
engaging with that audience. But if we had, jewelry, bake good, somebody's going to miss out. And our
Right.
goal is to let all the kids kind of win, right? And so we might push them towards another market if their schedule allows.
There you go. So, and again, so you're welcome. I'm putting ideas out there itself, guys. So, pet treats, obviously, so food, but pet
Huge.
treats.
Yep.
Pet
We've had a
treats is
couple pet
huge.
treats and those ones go and they're my dog loves them, proof. So
There you go. How about things like custom stickers or, art?
we've had one young lady recently join us at our Kenwood market. She takes her stickers and turns them into earrings. But I will say stickers are one of the number one things to go. All these little kids, they're at their height. The tables are at eye level or in the stroller. They can see them. Those are a great item to have.
There you go. There you go. Okay.
Yep.
And then Shawn, I think your son, he does the golf balls, right? Isn't that
Yeah, so my son, he gets picked up and dropped off at the golf course. And so if I'm ever, a few minutes behind getting there, or he's got some extra time when he gets dropped off, he goes and he hunts around in the woods for lost golf balls. And he finds them, he brings them home, he cleans them and puts them all in egg cartons. We have a community-wide garage sale twice a year, and he sets them up. My wife's uncle just gave him like a 5-gallon bucket. We were counting the other day. He's got like 158 golf balls now. He's got
there you go.
like 6 or 8 of the 18 packs of egg cartons filled with
That's
golf
awesome.
balls. He now knows the different brands of golf balls. He knows which brands are more valuable than other brands. And so, these Pro V1s I'm going to sell for this, but these, Kirkland brand I'm going to sell for less. And he's got this
Get him a
whole,
table, Shawn.
Love,
well,
I
I
was
was
going to
going
say,
to
love the
say,
hustle.
is it, I mean, I guess it really doesn't matter. What I was going to kind of worry, what my question was going to be is, does it have to be original? Or if my son is able to find and collect and clean and resell golf balls, would something like that work?
We do ask for there to be handmade, like an item. Now this is unique, so I see how this could fit. But if somebody is just purchasing, what are
Right.
those like Rubik's cubes online, and then just want to sell a bunch of Rubik's cubes at the table, we really do ask for there to be an element where they created it. just to kind of go into the whole farmers market, handmade, not just resell. We're not just a platform to really just like resell stuff. But
Right.
if he came up with cool packaging or painted them in themes or something, now
Yeah.
you're making, people are gonna, they love
It's
that stuff
unique.
because a kid did it. There's that one of the there's a young boy, he paints shells. His family has a beach house and he picks up shells, and you wouldn't believe, just because it's a small trinket you can put somewhere around your house, it's colorful, it's meaningful, it's simple, and he sells out of these shells. Like, but he just finds them, he picks them, he paints them, he does everything soup to nuts. And it's something so simple, but people love it. So we
But
just ask
what
that it isn't buy a bunch of stuff online from
right,
Amazon
just
and then like
resellers.
resell it.
So
Gotcha.
what I need
Gotcha.
to do is I need to encourage my son to become better at art. And then what he can do is he can paint your ex's picture on the golf ball. And that way you can smack that thing as far and as long and
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I would imagine what the title of this company would be then, but let's go.
Well, that's what's interesting about this conversation, though, Shawn, is we get asked a lot of ideas from the parents. What do you think about this? And I go, ask these same questions to your kids. Like, what would
Right.
you call it, or how do you differentiate? I guarantee you they'll come up with an answer because they're so creative already. Or they'll go to their friends at lunch at school and they'll come back with 5 ideas for you, Shawn. Those golf balls will
That's
not
the
just be
thing.
golf balls anymore. There will be a whole business plan. Just leave
Yep.
it to them.
or they'll go to Chat GPT and they'll
Yes.
Hey, again, they're entrepreneurs who take advantage of every resource available. So that's how
They're
you do
not
it. So
lying.
awesome deal. Awesome deal.
So again, I want to give out the information. It's kidsmarket.us. You can reach out to Kelly directly, Kelly at kidsmarket.us. Although I've been poking around the website and all the resources you need, how to get your kid involved if that's what you're interested in, how to become a vendor if that's what you're interested in. I'm sure that if you have some kind of topic that you think might be beneficial, and Kelly, George, and I both have access to tons of business professionals that could help with videos, with education, with, I mean, I'm
Awesome.
thinking financial, networking, behavioral style, budgeting. I mean, all this stuff
Let's
that
do it.
that we can help get you access to as well. But if you have questions, either reach out to Kelly directly. You can reach out to me. I'll connect you to Kelly. But again, it's kidsmarket.us. Anything anything we didn't ask?
No,
Anything else you want to
we
cover?
continue to thank our partners, our market partners, all the sponsors we've had thus far, people who have just donated to the organization because they want to see the kids, thrive, the parents for continuing to show up and help, be the chauffeurs on the day of and the snack slingers. And but really just we want to tell all the kids in Hillsborough, Pinellas, beyond that, if you have a passion and you're just not sure, just come on out to a market, see your peers actually doing, achieving, succeeding, failing. Come join right along with them. It is turning out to be a really awesome community where they're making friends, and learning while doing and making money. And so we just think it's a great cause, and everybody so far has just been having a ton of fun. So don't be afraid to reach out, or like, Shawn said, if you're a parent and your kid's kind of doing this already and you have questions, like, we're here for you. We've got 6-7 markets a month, lots of opportunities. And we just thank you for all the awareness and the support right now.
That's awesome. Well, thank you. We do appreciate you being a guest on this week's show.
Thanks for having us. This was fun, guys.
Yeah. And if you want to sponsor the podcast, again, that's patreon.com/crushing debt. You can help us out by going to that website. Other than that, George, anything else?
I gotta go yell at my kids now because they, they don't have the entrepreneur mindset, and I'm not sure what's happening. No, but it's I love the opportunity, and it was great, really, Kelly. It was great meeting you. This was
Thank you
fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you. Go home and ask them if they had to do a business, what would they do? I'm curious what they'd say.
They were like, "Whatever you want, Dad."
Oh,
That's I can see. I always used to joke, my wife, and there's nothing wrong with this. My wife had a very employee mentality. I'm going to go in and punch the clock. I'm going to leave, punch the clock, where I'm the reverse. I have a very entrepreneurial. I think my older son has got that entrepreneurial bug. Not quite sure yet about the younger one. So I gotta figure that out. Either
Gotta
way,
work that one.
one's not better or worse than the other, but
no.
it's just really, really interesting. So I haven't done this before on a show, but I did want to mention real quick, in about a month, So if you're listening to this show on the day it comes out, about a month after, we've had a couple of requests. I haven't told you this yet, George, but we had a couple of requests to do another show on student loans. And there are
Sure.
some bankruptcy programs or some new programs that are being managed and monitored within the bankruptcy court about how to eliminate student loans through bankruptcy. And so
Yeah.
I've got an interview with a couple of attorney buddies of mine. That'll be, if you're listening to the show when it comes out, that interview will be about 4 weeks away. I was also looking forward on the calendar, George. We've got interviews. It's not going to be you and I alone again for like 2 months. We've got
Well, that's good for the listeners.
an interview every week. I'm sure
This is great. I love meeting new people and introducing great topics. And obviously, if whatever we can do to help get the word out for people like Kelly and what they're trying to do out there, I am all for it, my friend.
Yes, absolutely. So, gosh, I think that's it. I think that will do it for this week's episode of the podcast. So again, Kelly, we really appreciate you being a guest on the show.
Thank you, Shawn. Thank you, George. This was great, and have a good weekend and get some rest.
There you go.
One thing that I will tell you, one thing I say at the end of every episode, one thing that I think definitely applies to you is that we want our kids to have more money at the end of the month rather than month at the end of the money. And that'll do it for this week's episode. And we will talk to you in next week's episode of the podcast.